morning. Good morning, Rabbi Pesach. How are you?
Good morning, Joanne.
Nice to see you.
How are you? Welcome to Life, Laughter and Kashrut, everybody.
Yeah, our radio show on JAir. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and listening in.
At 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, apparently.
10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning on this lovely day. So, it was your birthday.
We should see what the weather's going to be like tomorrow and say, if you look outside, it's nice and sunny, blue sky.
I'll check in on this after. So, tell me, how was your birthday?
Thank
1 year
you.
older.
It was fun. Spent time with my family. We had a lovely dinner. We did one of the, instead, normally we go out to a restaurant for birthdays, whatever.
Yes.
But this year we got takeaway instead. And we got it from, what's it called? From Kimberley.
Oh, yes. I've seen that they're starting to do takeaway foods.
They did a very, very good job. It tasted,
their food's beautiful.
Yeah, and honestly tasted every bit as good as if we were there. So that was very pleasing because, there's always a bit of reluctance about takeaway.
Yes. Well, as the birthday boy, you get to choose where you go for dinner. Is that how it works? That's how it works in the family here.
Yeah, pretty much. Although Kimberley's our go-to place for birthdays. We go elsewhere for other days.
Yeah. Excellent.
But that was fun. And got some new pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought myself a pair of headphones.
Oh, is that what you're using now?
No, not these ones.
Oh, okay.
You know what happens?
Why are you using your birthday ones for us? I mean, it's
because they're wireless Bluetooth and my computer doesn't do wireless Bluetooth.
So you know what that means. Got to get a new computer. You should have got a new computer for your birthday.
Yeah, I might go shopping with my father. He likes to buy these toys for me.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. And did you get did they get you something from Bunnings? We discussed this last time. That for your English birthday, your parents were going to get something from Bunnings.
I got a fire pit, which was awesome. Oh, this fire pit has a top on it that you can actually turn into a barbecue. So
oh my gosh, that is brilliant. Okay, that's a really good present.
And a really good friend popped by and gave me some alcohol. So that was greatly appreciated. Thank you to the good friend who did that, whose initials are JL.
You're welcome.
That Van Gogh espresso. It's
so good.
It's so good. We should do a program 1 week with our favourite drinks.
We talk about them all the time. That's the problem. I think people must think I'm some alcoholic because we talk about drinking.
What are your favourite drinks, by the way?
Well, you know that I love coffee. I'm a big coffee addict. Oh, there's a gremlin. No, well, you know how much I like coffee, which is hence the espresso vodka, which I shared because you and I both like coffee a lot. And then tea, then water, then arak, then wine.
Not just any arak.
Fig arak.
Fig arak.
Fig arak.
Yes, we've made a point of that, I think, so far on this show.
Yes, and then the flavoured vodkas are a favourite. So we've got the caramel and the espresso are my favourites.
Right. Maybe if we keep talking about Fig arak, more and more people buy it, right? So what happens when more and more people buy it is that they get to bring in larger caseloads and maybe the price will come down.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not. And also it's special to have, like we wouldn't want everyone to have it.
That's right. It's our special drink as well. So so where are your drinks? So is coffee number one for you like it is for me?
Oh no, definitely whiskey's number one. You could never displace whiskey from the top.
Yes, fair enough.
And then actually I'm partial to, there's a drink called Drambuie.
Yes. No, you gave me some once. Yeah, that was nice.
And then probably your Fig arak is good.
Yes. What about the espresso vodka?
And then everything else.
It's like beer and everything else. Just everything else.
That's right. What can you say?
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds good. So now you can sit around the pit fire.
That's right. With
like
alcohol.
Grilling, and grilling meat at the same time. That's
and how's your week been, Joanne?
Mine's been very good. It's been very, very busy. I was talking to you about trying to keep my writing commitments. And the thing that's hard is that I made a lot of commitments.
Whenever I ask you how your week was, it's just writing. Just writing.
It is. Well, you know what?
There's got to be something else apart from writing.
Well, talking about what I did this morning is pretty uneventful. So this morning I had to go to Coles and that takes forever. Now you got to load up all your shopping. So that's boring. No one's interested in that. Then I went to Continental. I must say, I just need to say I don't get any plugs or anything. I just happen to be going to Continental. But I do like that you can pre-order everything and then you just go pick it all up and they put it in the car for you. The guys are very nice.
You can't go in
So
their
I've got
shop
my
yet.
butcher. No, you can't go in the shop. So no, you go around the back.
Yeah.
And
I
then
don't quite
the
understand
nice
it,
guys, the friendly guys come and put everything in the car for you, which is really nice.
I don't
But this
really
is
see why
boring.
you can't walk
It's
in.
so boring. It's
Why
so
can't
boring.
you
No
walk
one's
inside a
interested.
butcher shop?
I guess the social distancing. Maybe you can't have too many people in the same shop. I don't know.
I think we should be able to go into the butcher shop by now.
You know, when all of this is over, I reckon they should keep some of these options open where you can pre-order and then just go pick it up. It's
Well,
so convenient. Well,
could.
I know, but I used to
It's
just
just
go.
not part of the norm.
Maybe they should keep it as part of the norm. And then one of the things I mentioned to you about Glick's temporarily closing down in South Caulfield and me being upset because I couldn't get my challah, I'd like to be a big hooroo that they actually do deliveries now on Shabbat, pre-Shabbat. So you can get your challah delivered.
But you've got to spend a minimum amount.
$50. $50.
Is the actual shop closed? Like, is there anyone in there?
Yeah, it's open, but only the one down in Carlisle Street. Yeah. Carlisle Street. So that's the only one that's open.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So big thanks to them. They packed everything up very nicely for me and left it. Yes, please.
You're listening to J-Air, Jewish Australian Internet Radio. J-Air broadcasts to Caulfield and nearby suburbs on 87.8 FM, as well as streaming online at j-air, that's air.com.au.
Well, I actually did something on the weekend that I've not done. I don't even remember the last time. I stayed in bed in pajamas for almost the whole day. I haven't had a pajama day. I know everyone else is doing it. It was a pajama. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, every now and again, I'm having a pajama day too.
Actually, the boys are having a pajama day at school tomorrow.
So everyone on the Zoom-in classes are all in PJs?
Yeah, they're all in PJs.
Gosh, funny. That's really
funny is that all the kids in pajamas? So yes, I don't even remember the last time I had a pajama day. So I'm very excited.
How do you rationalize, if you feel guilty, how do you rationalize a pajama day to yourself?
I didn't. I just did it and just enjoyed it. It was so much fun.
So it was a guilty pleasure then?
It was. It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I figure that 1 day out of 7, I'm allowed to do it.
I agree. The problem is that if you have something to do, like go to shop, go visit people, pop in and see people in my pajamas. No, I don't think that's a good idea. But it was fun.
I've been taken to wearing, is that the right phrase? I have taken to, I think I've got the phrase wrong. I've started wearing my dressing gown around home.
Yeah,
even though
we talked about this. Yeah, we're talking about this. I love wearing my dressing gown. Yeah, it's nice.
Discovering all these special things during Corona.
And then, talking about Corona, what did you do on your birthday? What was your birthday gift to yourself, going and getting a test done? Oh, yeah. Like, who does that on your birthday, honestly?
So listen to this,
so
Joanne.
Unpleasant. It's so unpleasant. Do you want to share with everyone how...
Had you heard anything about getting tested before this?
No, I know how it's done. That's why I'm pushing you to share with everyone.
How did you know?
Someone had put, you see just the weirdest stuff on Facebook. Someone had posted how they do it. So I knew. So when I saw that you went on your birthday, I'm like, why?
For everyone out there who's seen those weird pictures about getting tested on Facebook or wherever, those pictures are true. They stick they stick 2 probes, which are basically just long cotton buds, one at the back of your throat and one through your nose to the back of the throat. And mate, it is as disgusting as it sounds.
Gross.
OMG. Awful.
But you did this on your birthday. That's the worst thing. You had to do it on your birthday. You couldn't have picked another day to do it on.
Do you know, I went 2 times to the Alfred Hospital to try and get tested over the last couple of months. Just honestly, just for the hell of it. I thought, at one stage I had it like what I thought I had a bit of a cold. So I thought, you know what the hell, I'll get tested.
Mm-hmm.
But they turned me away.
Oh.
I think because
you weren't sick enough.
I wasn't sick enough. That's right.
Yeah.
I assume it all revolves around the fact that they didn't have enough testing kits.
Yeah, and now they do.
Well, they do now, except that even with yesterday, they were still turning people away.
Really?
So it was only if you're working in things like emergency services or the necessary service industries. And they said to me, do you work in any of these? And I said, well, I work in an abattoir. Does that qualify?
Especially one that's just
I felt like they were going to say, go straight to the front of the line.
Yeah. And?
Yes, so that was
not a drama. To the front
they just
of the
said,
line?
just come this way, please, sir.
Okay, good.
And but the line was only like about 100 metres long, but took an hour for the car to kind of progress forward 100 metres.
Right.
It was a bit crazy.
Because they were talking about it on the radio this morning. They said there was an hour and a half wait to get tested.
That was about right. And it was, at least they were nice people, but what a awful adventure.
So when do you get your results?
Oh, actually, they should be coming anytime now. Sometime in the next 24 hours or less.
Right.
And while I was at Cheston, I got out of my car and I walked around a bit.
Yep. Many people?
Plenty of people still.
Wow.
Out. Plenty of people.
Are the shops open? I haven't been.
Only, I'd say maybe 1/3 of shops would be open.
Right.
None of the high-end shops are open, that's for sure.
What about the food shops?
Coles open, Kmart's open, Reject Shop was open, Target, Kmart was open. Yeah, so not a great. You know what was open? I'll tell you, this would interest you.
Yeah.
The sorry.
Bookstore.
The bookstore. The bookstore was open. Dimmicks, there was quite a few people in there.
Yeah.
And the toy store was open. The puzzles and games store was open.
We want people to buy puzzles. Yeah.
I saw 2 ladies literally I think they were shopping together, literally with shopping trolleys, and they had loaded up their shopping trolleys with games.
Really?
It was weird.
They must be bored.
They must be bored.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's putting the time to productive.
Everyone seems to be doing a lot of baking. Everyone's posting photos on social media with all the baking that they're doing.
What have you baked this week?
Can I tell you, I made the best meal. I know you're going to turn around and go, there was no meat in it, but it was actually really good. And even Jacques said I should make it again. So
what was it?
It was this, put this massive spice rub together. So it had a gazillion spices together, and I roasted it with cauliflower and chickpeas. And then I made a coleslaw, but it wasn't just with the mayo. It had like a whole 10 ingredients in the dressing. And so then I roasted these. Oh, they're the gremlins again. So then I had the tortillas, which I toasted. So then you had this beautiful cauliflower and chickpea with this amazing coleslaw on top, all in this tortilla.
Wow. Well, if anyone out there who's a rabbit would love that, then please get in touch with Joanne and she'll give you the recipe.
It was so good. It was really, really good. And then, hopefully Jacques won't hear what I did. So with the leftover water...
You realise this is going out to radio, right?
I know, but he probably won't hear it. So with I'd heard about this, but I'd never done it, that you can get the water from the chickpeas, and that's in the tin, the leftover, and you can make them into meringues. Did you know that?
Yeah, apparently you can whip it up. That's right.
I did. So I did it. I didn't
did it
tell
work?
Anyone. It worked. I should go after quickly and go. I think there's one meringue left.
Did it take a lot of effort to whip up?
No. It was so easy. And then I just put some sugar into it, and then I cooked it. It was the first meringues I've ever made. And Jacques goes, "Why did you make meringues?" I went, just because. Anyway, everyone ate them, not knowing that they're chickpea water meringues. So yeah, everyone, and they all thought it was great. The only person that knows is Joshua, because he helped me.
Yeah, I want to
This is
try
my
that
little
now.
chef. Yeah, I'll go get them when we're doing. So we should be. Oh, we're gonna have
What's
to.
our first music?
We're singing
Which one
"Happy
would we like
Birthday"
first?
to you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, here we go.
Yay!
Enjoy listening to J-Air? Support us and become a member by visiting our website, j-air.com.au.
And we're back.
We're back. The
I don't know
Gremlins.
if I really like it. I don't know if I like that song.
Oh, come on! It's a great song. It's the
a good
Beatles,
song.
and it's for your birthday. Come on, we don't have to hear it for another year.
I'm not sure if I like John Lennon's voice kind of a bit smoother. I don't like the kind of rock sort of crazy sort of Aerosmith style.
But it's your birthday.
Okay then.
So that's why. So
Yeah, so I better like it.
That's right. You better like it.
Thanks.
Anyway, it's one of the best birthday songs, and you deserve a nice birthday song. So actually, I forgot that we were going to interview Alan Jackson, which is a shame that he was unwell. I hope he's getting better. I was so excited.
Alan.
Yeah, so we were talking in our last chat last week, and Alan's name came up, and then you went and organised to have him on our show. I'm so excited, but then he was unwell, so sorry. But then you've gone and organised something even better.
Seems like this time of year is the perfect opportunity.
It is, and then you've gone and organised something better. What have you organised? We're going to be interviewing him on...
Right, so we're interviewing him on, I think it's May 22nd that we're recording the interview. And it's Yom Yerushalayim, that's right. Brilliant. And of course, he was instrumental in, as part of the battalions that went into Jerusalem, into the old city to retake the Kotel, which is very, very special and a momentous part of our history, Jewish history.
It's fantastic. I'm really, really excited. I cannot wait to meet him and interview him. I'm so excited to hear his story.
Yep,
I was just bursting with excitement. So, well, you've already met him. I haven't. I'm more excited.
He's a very interesting person to meet and even just to talk to casually.
Yeah.
He's friends with, or my daughter Gabby's become friends with him as well.
Beautiful.
And she's gotten a lot out of meeting someone who played such an important part of our history. You know, to actually meet someone who was there, who was a part of it, is just it's quite extraordinary.
No, it's fantastic. I cannot wait till we do this interview. And for everyone listening, it's going to be on Friday in a couple of weeks' time. And we are going to be doing it live through Facebook.
Right. That'll be on our Facebook page.
Yeah. We'll share it to our personal pages as well. We'll
so
do quite a bit of promo.
Please look up Life Laughter Kashrut on Facebook and like us so you can watch the interview live with us.
But we'll let you know, like leading up to it, I'll put lots of social media. Have you seen how I've been doing a good job with our social media?
Yeah,
got a lot
you can
of reach
spend as much money on it as you want. Good on you.
No, I
really
don't need to
it.
now. No, we've got lots of people, so it's good. So, you know what? I was just having a listen to. Sorry, I know that I've got pinging going through my computer, but that's the problem. Is that if I turn all the sound down, then you won't hear me. So in the background, you've got ping.
Oh, I see.
So I
You've got your computer noises coming through to your ears.
Yeah. Sorry.
I see. Just ignore them.
Just ignore it.
Not me, though.
I would never ignore you.
Thank you.
Okay. So what we're going to talk about, I wanted to talk about what we didn't talk about last week. Uh-oh. So you asked me a question and then I realized I actually didn't end up answering the question. So now I'm going to answer it, but I'm going to answer it in typical Joanne style instead of a yes, no, or a yeah, nah answer.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah.
Are you really sure we want typical Joanne style?
Yeah, we're going to take 10 minutes to answer a question. How's that?
All right, okay.
You know me. I can't write something down with a yeah, nah.
Everyone out there is wanting to know now. What are you? I want to know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is the problem because you don't allow me to tell you what we're going to be talking about.
What is the question and what is the answer?
So the question was, we were talking about, I've got to work out, I can't remember how this came up in conversation, but we were talking
God, this is like going to the dentist and extracting a tooth. What are we talking about?
We're talking about, that's right, we're talking about my book, The Friends to Lovers, and you said about friends can you have... Yes.
Can
of the
men
opposite
and
sex,
women...
Yes, be friends.
Be friends.
Yes.
Platonic
friends. And then I realised I hadn't answered the question. So I was talking about with my favourite movie, which is When Harry Met Sally. And so Harry has one view and Sally has the other view, right? And so my answer is they're both right. So typical Joanne, they're both right.
Oh, okay. So it's Queen Solomon here, King Solomon's answer.
I'm not going to be chopping a baby in half.
How is
because
it
depends on the circumstances. That's what makes them both right. So,
in the movie, Harry, Tom Hanks, said that men and women cannot be platonic friends.
So, yeah, he says that, yeah. He goes, you can't. And he goes into quite a lot of detail, which I won't go into now, but the reason why you can't. And Sally goes, but you can. He goes, I've got plenty of male friends. And he goes, they're not male friends. They still want to take it further, putting it more delicately.
Reminds me of a Seinfeld episode, I think, where Jerry and Elaine wanted to retain their friendship, but they also wanted to go beyond their regular relationship as well.
The problem is I didn't watch Seinfeld, so sorry.
I thought that's where it was coming from. So
no.
they said that you could lay down some ground rules in order to keep both sides happy.
Oh, okay. So this works really well in movies and it also works very well in books. So just keeping the premise of romance movies and romance books, people want to have escapism and they want the happily ever after. So in these movies and in these books, yes, it's right. You have friends who do move into past the friendship zone.
All right. So how is it done? How can you have it both ways?
Okay, so we'll just talk about why Friends to Lovers work. So a couple of movies that I'd written down that I was thinking about which works. You probably haven't seen these because they're romance, unless you got sucked into it by one of your daughters, Rochelle.
It's likely I haven't seen them.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's assume
you haven't seen them. So, When Harry Met Sally, Suddenly 30, Notting Hill, and Always Be My Maybe. Okay, that's actually on Netflix. That's really good, actually. So again, it's you've got your friends, and there's also I think my best friend's wedding, and there's quite a lot. It's actually a very popular trope, but the thing is that you can have two who are friends, but something has to happen for them to go beyond the friend zone. You don't just suddenly turn around and go, okay, let's just move on. It doesn't happen that way. Most people stay in the friend zone until something happens. So in, that's it, Maid of Honor. You probably haven't seen that.
Oh, I think what movie is that? Who's in that?
It's a few years old, and I've forgotten who the actors are. They were really popular at the time. It's about 10 years old. And he is the bloke. So he's the maid, as in, so instead of having a female maid of honor, it's a bloke. It's actually a very funny movie.
Yeah.
And the thing is that they've been very good friends for many, many years. And it's only when she goes and announces her engagement that she's going to go get married to someone else that he realizes that he's in love with her.
That's right.
So you need something to spur them on. If you don't have that, it doesn't work. So, for example, I read a book recently where they were two friends and they went beyond the friend zone, but they didn't explain why. So once they were together, that was all fine and everything all was good. But because they didn't explain why they moved out of the friend zone, I just didn't really enjoy the book as much. It didn't make sense. You've got to have a very good reason as to why you move out of the friend zone.
You have to have a good reason why.
Yeah, so using Maid of Honor was a perfect example because suddenly he realizes that he's losing her, and this happens a lot. So I actually just read another book, and it was the same thing. He was forced into a marriage of convenience, and that's for her to go, okay, I need to let him know before he gets married how I feel, and then I'm leaving. So
he needs to say that one more time.
So he's been forced by his parents into a marriage of convenience.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to marry this woman, but they're forcing him to. And when the best friend finds out that she's about to lose her best friend to be married to someone else, that's when she goes, you know what? Now I'm going to go and tell him how I really feel about him, and then I'm going to leave. I'm going to go and live somewhere else because I can't bear to see him.
But she's in love with him.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these kinds of issues, and I think they're real life issues as well. I think it stems a lot from the fact that people don't share their feelings and emotions.
Maybe they do this with their friends though.
They do what with their friends?
Sharing with their friends.
But the whole point is that they're friends and they can't share their intimate feelings with each other.
No, they do. That's the whole thing, is that people are sharing with their friend. They're sharing things, but they're staying in the friend zone. They're not taking it further, but they're sharing things. So each person knows so much about each other.
So it's like a safety sort of...
Yeah.
A safety position.
But there could be, most of the reasons that I have seen is that most people don't want to go out of that friend zone is because they're scared about losing that person. That person means so much to them, and that they're worried that once they move into intimacy and things like that, that maybe they may end up breaking up and then they'll lose them completely. Especially if...
I find it so weird.
Pardon?
I find it so weird.
Right. This is like one of the most popular tropes that's used in movies and writing. And
this is one of the arguments that I have with, not an argument, but this is one of the discussions I have with Rochelle sometimes, that it's actually, I have a feeling that IMHO, men are more capable of sharing their feelings than women.
Really?
Yeah, as in more honest or more transparent.
Yeah, actually, I agree with that. I have to agree that men, because they don't fluff around, they just say it how it is. Although, I have to be honest, that Jacques had gone out with some mates, and he came home, I think I've told you this story, And I said to him, oh, did you have a nice time? And I was talking about a certain person. I said, and did you ask how they're going? They're going through a really difficult time. And I was explaining, he goes, no, we just talking about the footy. So, I think that, I don't know. For me personally, I think that blokes usually share their feelings with women, but they don't share it with other blokes.
Mind you, I mean, you know, I know for sure that when a group of women get together, when you get together with your friends, that I think you talk about stuff that men would not ordinarily make a discussion of.
Probably.
It's funny. It's different kinds of conversations. I can't quite.
It just depends on who you're talking with. I'm not quite sure
exactly what I'm saying, but I feel like there's something there.
But when you're in a one-on-one, you can reveal more stuff about yourself. So, for example, I've had like a few Zoom calls, which have been really nice with friends, but that's not the time to be discussing, I don't know, personal things. Usually you're just talking about chit-chats and how things are going and what you're doing, as opposed to deep, meaningful. I think the sort of deep, meaningful conversations come out when it's more on the one-on-one.
And is it possible that the D&M sort of discussions happen a lot more when men and women are actually talking to each other?
Yeah.
As opposed to women talking to each other? Or that's not necessarily the case? I think this is all related. I think it's all related to this central idea that men believe that men and women can't just be friends.
Okay. Well, anyway, so coming back to it, I'm going to say that it's both. I'm not going to go into the whole reasons because otherwise we'll be here all day, but it is a really popular trope. And when I started thinking about it, I looked at all my books and I realized how many times I've used this trope. It's just so popular. And I went, oh my gosh, I have used it so many times, and so many books, many movies that I watch have this trope as well. And how many books I read have this trope. So yeah.
Have you written anything with it?
Yeah, that's what I just said. So many of them. I've got to count them up, but more than half my books have got this theme in them, this trope.
Should we do a quick promo?
Yes, please.
Find us on Facebook. Just head to www.facebook.com/J Air Radio. That's 2 R's. J Air Radio.
J Air Radio.
Don't forget the 2 R's.
JAIR RADIO.
Yeah.
.com.au?
I didn't pay attention.
I wonder why they should actually say that you can also download the app.
The app's good.
It's actually quite a good app.
Really
There's
good.
a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah, Jay is really, really good. And then I think we've got Walter following us after, and he's really interesting as well.
Old Walter. Good on him. God bless him.
He's really good. He's very insightful.
I'm looking at the JAIR app right now.
I've got it on my phone. It's very good.
It's got live radio, messages, gallery. What's a gallery?
Why are you looking at this now?
I don't know. Because I'm finding this conversation boring about men and women and news headlines, latest news, Facebook, YouTube.
Fine, we'll go into the Kashrut questions after. Are we going to do Kashrut now? Should we do another song?
Yeah, ask a question. Ask the question, and then we'll go to
No, because we've got quite a bit that I'm going to be talking about.
We'll start with a question. Oh, I've started playing JS from my phone now. That's good. I don't know how to stop it. There we go. Sorry. I was caught out by technology then. Ask your first question, then we'll go to our music.
Okay, actually, this one question is a burning issue and I keep forgetting to ask you, so I'm going to ask you now, but then I've got a couple of other things that I want to talk about. Okay, so for those who don't know, if a pot is on a flame or it's connected to electricity, so for example, with those slow cookers, on Shabbat, you can't stir it. Okay, we can talk about the reasons why after, but this is the premise for those who don't know. Okay, however, so assuming that I've got my pot, it's on Shabbat, and I forget, and I go and stir it.
I'm now feeling, I'm feeling like I should have actually asked you to ask me these questions before going on. God, I hope I know some. Keep going.
You really.
I've got a feeling of impending doom.
You're frozen.
While
which
the
is
music's
really
on,
funny.
I might do a quick Google. I'm glad I asked the question now.
You should know me by now. You should know me by now. So, so oh my gosh, I'm frozen. I'm frozen. Oh, where's our, oh my gosh, not the recording. Has it come back? Are we recording?
Yeah,
Let me just check.
it's all good.
I'm just checking that we're recording.
All right, so I'm going to the music.
Do the music.
We're recording.
And I'm going to go get a meringue.
I'm going to the music.
Go to the music.
I don't want to hear any more Kashrut questions.
Always looking for people with interest in radio, either presenting their own show or being on the technical side. Become a volunteer now. Head to our website at j-air.com.au. Follow the Get Involved link and click on Become a Volunteer Now.
How'd that go? Was that all right for you, that song?
Near the end, the music, I think the gremlins were having a little nibble on it or chomping through it.
All right. But
That's okay.
That was Jamiroquai. You're in love with Jamiroquai.
No, it's not actually.
Wasn't it Jamiroquai?
No, it was Mojo something. Yeah, Mojo.
Oh.
So,
okay.
you know, we've been doing the 90s theme because Jordan was saying how bad all the music was. And this song came on. I was thinking, oh, I'm sure it was in the 90s. Actually, it slipped through. It came out in 2000. And I was thinking about how much I liked it. Yeah. and I was thinking about how much I liked it, and actually brought back a lot of memories. This was actually a defining moment for me in 2000, is that it's when I first got my first big break in corporate. Like, I got a really good job. I finally had made it after countless interviews and just going and trying over and over and being rejected.
What was that job?
It was the job I actually ended up staying in Telstra for. So I was, the name changed, but it was, I guess you could call it a business analyst / project manager. It was a really good job and a lot of responsibilities.
Did you oversee any really big jobs, any big projects?
Yeah, so the big one that I took on, I'd sort of gone in at a lower level, and I took on the GST. I don't know if you remember when we brought in GST at this time. And I took it. No one wanted to do it coming into 2000, and no one wanted to do this.
Was GST around the year 2000?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And no one in the team wanted it. No one wanted it. They were like, and I said, I'll take it. And it just cemented me in Telstra in this area of being efficient and knowing how to do things. It was just like a really defining moment for myself. Everyone sort of looked back and went, oh, okay, I didn't realize that she was good and could do this.
Well, that's very good. And certainly if there's someone that's built to do a difficult job, I think you're it.
Oh, thanks.
In my experience.
Thanks. Yeah.
And that includes being my friend.
Oh. That's the easiest one. That's the easiest bit.
So stirring.
Okay, I wanted to give the heads up because some people who are listening may not know. Just because you know all of this, not everyone knows that, I didn't know, because when I grew up, I didn't know this, that when the pot
I probably didn't know it either when I was growing up.
Okay, so that's why I'm giving the preempt. I didn't want to just give the question. I had to, because we do have people who are listening who may not know all the intricacies.
All right, so assuming that you don't know, what are the basics about, in this case, cooking for Shabbat or cooking on Shabbat?
Okay, so we know that we can't cook on Shabbat. So when the pot is on the flame, so it's on the cook, or I was actually thinking about this. This is actually something that happened at the synagogue years ago, and I've been meaning to ask someone. I keep forgetting and keep thinking, oh yeah, I'll bring it up. So anyway, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. So you know that we got those pots that we use for Shabbat to keep the food warm. So they're connected to electricity, and
they're basically a food warmer.
Correct. So you can't stir the food because it's like they're cooking, because they're connected to what we were told you couldn't. But assuming whether that is or doesn't matter, assuming that the food is sitting on the flame and it's cooking and you go to stir it, which is technically making the food not kosher, okay? So you can't eat it on Shabbat. My question is that can you eat it the following day?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh,
that is a good question.
Is it? Oh, awesome.
Oh, wow. That's a little bit of a stumper. Wow. So this is actually, you've gone off on a tangent. So can we go backwards a step?
Okay, so this actually happened. So we had food that was on the pots connected to electricity, and someone went in and started stirring the pot when they'd been specifically told not to do it.
Look, there's plenty of people at your shul that like to stir the pot.
Let's not go there. Okay?
And if anything, I think too many cooks.
Too many cooks, that's right. But we won't go there now. So what had happened is that that's my question. You're in trouble. Okay, so she started stirring the pot, even though she knew she wasn't supposed to. Had been given a directive by the rabbi not to stir the pots.
Jewish or not Jewish?
Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
And so the pot was stirred, and the rabbi's wife saw it and said, we are not serving that food, which is fair enough. So the food was put to the side.
Now, why can't we stir it?
Well, okay, you can answer that. My understanding is that it's part of the cooking. It means it's like you're cooking. So therefore
so it's related to the cooking process.
Correct.
Whether it appears to look like you're contributing to the cooking, or whether in fact maybe there was some part of the food that was, I mean, what's the point of stirring in the first place? The point of stirring in the first place is to get everything cooked through, right? So if there's a part of the food that's not cooked properly and you go to stir it, then all of a sudden, boom, you're cooking on Shabbos. Gee, that's actually, there's two ways you could look at that. Because if indeed you actually mamash have cooked, if you really have cooked something on Shabbos, which is entirely possible, like you could have, say, a cholent that has started to be cooked before Shabbos, which is fine, and then you have it on the slow cooker, and then you notice that there is a part of the beans or the potatoes, whatever, that just are not inside the food, and you open up the lid and you give it a stir, you are definitely cooking it on Shabbos because you're mixing it into where the heat is, right? Oh, hang on. You've gone mute. I cannot hear you.
Sorry, I was coughing it, and I muted myself. I forgot to unmute myself.
Okay.
Sorry. So this is what she was doing. Yes, I was agreeing with you. So she noticed, I don't know. Look, I wasn't. So I think that what she was trying to do was trying to stir to try and get the heat even, which we had been told not to do. Okay. And so she did it. So the problem is that if she'd been alone, she would have just served the food. But unfortunately for her, someone saw it and refused to, and said, we cannot serve this food. It's unkosher. So then... Yeah.
It would seem to me that if we have food that is definitely cooked on Shabbat, then it seems to me that we could not eat it even after Shabbat.
Oh, okay.
Because it would not be, I can't see how that would be permissible, because you can't get a benefit out of something where you've broken, at its worst, is an actual real Torah law.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there might be some little kind of side notes to that, which I'm not sure what they are at the moment, where you could actually figure out a way that maybe if you already knew it was an accident or something, or I don't know. But at the outset, I'd have to say that you wouldn't be able to eat that after Shabbos. But it's like at the abattoir. Excuse my coughing there. It's like at the abattoir. There are some parts of the beef, the sheep, the lambs that we don't eat, and you can give it to a non-Jewish person. So it's not as if you would be actually
throwing out the food,
throwing it out. Which again, we have a principle of what's called Baal Tashchit, which means to waste food.
Yeah.
That we shouldn't waste food. So if you can give it to someone, and maybe possibly even give it to a dog, that might be possible as well, although it might not be, because if it's your dog, then you might be deriving benefit from it. But maybe giving it to a goy is probably the way to go.
Okay. Thanks for answering that.
And
I'm actually always on.
I think you've wanted to know that for a long time, have you? You're back on mute again. You're on mute.
You're back now.
There you are.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Sorry. It's actually something I've been meaning to ask, and I keep forgetting to ask. It's actually been something I've wanted to know for a long time.
Good. I might actually do a bit more research into it.
Can you? And come back next week?
Come back to you with maybe more of a full answer next week, because I could be completely wrong, but I don't see how it's possible that you could eat something that was cooked on Shabbat.
Okay. But then, it's not done purposefully. It's done by accident.
By accident, yes. See, that might be a way out of it. So we'll have to check that out. Yeah.
But I do like the idea that you could always give the food to someone. It's not like you're just chucking it in the bin.
Yeah, God forbid.
Yeah.
All right.
No. Actually, I was going to ask, but I forgot to ask before we start. We're doing meat. Okay. I know.
It's the end of the program.
No. Okay. So quick question. Do we want to tell people that we are going to be doing our program to help those with soup and
very good.
veggies?
All right, so we're starting up a quick program this week.
Yep. We need a name.
So if anyone, we don't have to have a name, but following on from yours and my previous community giving and giving back activities, there will be fruits and veggies and soups available that we'll be able to give out to people. If anyone's interested out there, please send us a message privately to either Joanne or myself, and we'll let you know more details about it.
Yeah, and so I've recruited a couple of people to help me, and I will be dropping some care baskets off to those in need. So if you can't come out and you're in isolation,
doing it every week.
Yeah, the plan is to do this every week, we'll be coming around and bringing it out to those in need. Yep. So that's the end of our show. So I had a whole lot of other stuff that we didn't get to.
Thanks for another good week.
Thank you.
Keep it in
nice
reserve
to
for next
see
time.
you. Happy birthday again. Have a beautiful year ahead.
Thank you. May we all be blessed for a refuah shlema, for healing and quick healing, and we should find a vaccine for corona quickly.
Amen.
And there should be an end to the suffering that people are going through during these times.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good week. I look forward to catching up with you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Don't stop me.